Member Saanich North and the Islands.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Recently, the Honourable Premier was in the local media speculating on an idea to connect the Saanich Peninsula and the Cowichan Valley by a bridge. This idea has come up every decade or so, usually after an incident turns increasing congestion on the Malahat into gridlock. A shiny bridge with architectural splendor makes for grand politics, but it's not the best solution. It will be a giant black hole in our budget, increase greenhouse gas emissions and cars on the road, and require expensive upgrades to Beacon, Mount Newton, Keating, Sayward, Haliburton, and Uptown. To the Minister of Transportation, there are ongoing discussions about a passenger ferry service across the Saanich Inlet. If the provincial government was part of the dialogue, it would provide certainty to potential service providers and commuters that a passenger ferry service is supported and will be around now and in the future. Will you work with me and the various stakeholders already at the table to investigate ferry services across the Saanich Inlet?
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, and I appreciate the question from the member of the third party, and he's right. Every time there's a crisis, we're starting to look at different solutions. We are looking again at the report that came in 2007 and the potential of a bridge. We are looking at other avenues to deal with what is clearly a problem for people in the South Island, people who are travelling across the Malahat. It is an area where we have issues of safety, where we're dealing with that, but also where it does narrow up through a provincial park. So we're looking at all different avenues to try and make sure that access to the Capital Regional District can be kept open. And I'd be happy to sit down with the member to talk about ideas that he and others have.
Saanich North and the Islands on a supplemental.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. And we've long needed better transit on the Saanich Peninsula and in the Cowichan Valley. Yesterday, in response to a question from my colleague from the Cowichan Valley, the Minister of Transportation referred to the government's transportation vision. We've had reports, studies, and visions drafted, shelved, and collecting dust on how to improve the transportation system on South Vancouver Island. There's a strong economic case for a passenger and complementary vehicle ferry service between Cowichan Bay, Bay and Swartz Bay. There's social and economic and environmental case for a rapid bus system on the Bay Highway serviced by better neighbourhood transit services. So to the Minister of Transportation, we don't need a big, shiny new bridge. What we need is a flexible, cost-effective, reliable service today and for the long term, so people can invest and we can improve the quality of life on South Vancouver Island. When will you join the stakeholders at the table to seriously discuss a passenger ferry service in the Saanich Inlet?
Minister of Transportation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the member, I think that we've sat down and talked with the member about visions for transit and transportation in the South Island, the Saanich Peninsula, right across out to Soot. We're also talking with about going up to the Cowichan Valley. We have a record investment in BC Transit. Our government is ensuring that people can afford to travel and can afford to travel easily. Obviously, there is problems with delays when there are accidents and so on. And I agree with the member, we do need to have a vision, and I'm happy, as I said before, to answer his previous question, I'm happy to sit down and talk about different ideas to ensure that we can get people moving safely and effectively across the South Island.